So he's a great guy to be surrounded with. And both of us moved here. We both moved here. We're living in a 2-bedroom apartment. And at one point there was, again, like 6 of us. And Tom's friends left except for him. My friends left except for me. And like we were kind of like the last 2 survivors. we were the last 2 survivors in Los Angeles. Except because we had a vision, we had a plan, and we worked the plan, you know?
And that's important because even it sounded like you guys, but however, here's the thing, you're not competing for $1 million prize. You're competing for your ability to stay in the game and also to build your brand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we both have like different goals. So it's just like however we can support each other to help, because I feel like we have like definitely helped and supported each other like a ton, even though like his goals are more like business and entrepreneurship and marketing, and mine's more like entertainment industry, like filmmaking. But there's so many ways that we can help each other, and like I feel like especially in Los Angeles, like moving to LA, like it would be so difficult if I was here like by myself and had to like do the whole like studio apartment thing or a 1-bedroom apartment and like just kind of was out completely on my own. Like it's just good to have like a really close friend to, you know, to be fighting the battles with, you know.
Awesome. So speaking of which, because I want to talk to you about some of your content, including a story about your experience on Let's Make a Deal.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
So that story, I would love for you to tell my audience about how you got onto Let's Make a Deal.
Yeah, so I was on Let's Make a Deal, and I ended up winning $2,000 very randomly, like as a guest. And it's different for everybody. This is such a great question. I'm so glad you asked this, because it was such a unique experience where I was doing audience work. Like when I first moved to LA, I was doing audience work, which is where they just put us in the audience for shows and we'll like clap, like, yeah, and we'll get paid to do that. And it's really fun. And then I was like so enthusiastic one day that a production assistant approached me and was like, hey, do you want to audition for Let's Make a Deal? And I was like, yeah, of course. And I knew a couple other people who had done it, and they actually won a bunch of money doing it because like they get called down to the stage, they're on the stage with Wayne Brady, they win prizes. So I'm like, yeah, sure. So I auditioned for it. The audition process was demoralizing. Like I thought it was just going to be me, and I was going to like shake hands with all the people involved. It was me in a room of like 15 people. And I'm sitting there, like, they're all auditioning too, and I'm like, oh, this sucks. I thought it was like I thought they like handpicked me, but I'm just part of this machine that they roll. And then they bring me into the room to audition, and they're like, scream as loud as you can. And I'm like, oh, this is just humiliating. I was like, yeah, like in front of this room, like, scream, because I really wanted to be on Let's Make a Deal. And I left the audition being like, wow, like I just embarrassed myself. Like they had me like screaming and dancing in front of camera. Man, that was humiliating. And I was like, I don't think I'm even going to get I don't think they're even going to choose me. Like, that was a terrible experience. Like, that's what I thought. And then, like, 2 weeks later, they sent me an email, and they're like, hey, when are you available to shoot your episode? I was like, oh, it worked. Great. Like, awesome. I'm like, dude, I'm ready, like, as soon as possible. So, like, the soonest available date, I showed up, and they required that you wear a costume. So I dressed like a cowboy because that wasn't too far from home for me. And it was a lot of fun. Like being on the show was fun, but I was at like this peak energy state because they'll interview you before the show, like in a big crowd of people, and they want to find out like who the most enthusiastic people are because that will look the best on camera. And I was like, energy was just through the roof like the entire morning. I was like, please put me on the show. And then like they place us on the audience, and I'm in like the top right corner, and I'm just like freaking out, like dancing while there's music playing. Like I was so like frantically high energy because I really, really wanted to make sure I got picked. And then Wayne Brady starts picking people, and I'm there, and I'm like, man, like, what if I don't get selected? Like, I'm on the show. I auditioned for this. Like, I'm here in the audience. Like, am I even going to get picked to go up? Like, this is ridiculous. And then like towards the end of the show, he's like, oh, how about this man up here, the cowboy? And I'm like freaking out. I'm like, oh my God, yeah, like high-fiving everybody, like, yeah. And then I go and play the game with Wayne Brady. I'm on stage with Wayne Brady, and we're just like bantering, having a conversation, which, by the way, Wayne Brady, extremely charming, brilliant, just genius, improv master, genius. He was so funny, so cool, so calm. And he asked me a couple questions about like, oh, hey, what's this a photo of? And it would be like a zoomed in photo of like the rim of a car, and I would do that 3 times with 3 different items. I got all the questions right. And he's like, okay, Paul, here's $2,000 cash. And Wayne Brady hands me $2,000 cash. I'm like, this is ridiculous. Like, I can't believe I'm just here dressed as a cowboy, and Wayne Brady just handed me $2,000. Like, this is nuts. And then he's like, you can either take the cash or take whatever's in this envelope. And everyone in the audience is like, take the cash, take the cash. And I'm there, and I'm like, I kind of like playing with it a little bit. So I was like, oh, I don't know, what should I do? Should I take? Whoa! And everyone's like, take the money, you idiot, take the money. And I'm like, I'm like, all right, like I'll take the money, Wayne. And he's like, all right, congratulations. And then I go back to my seat. I got $2,000 cash in my pocket, and I'm like, whoa, like I just like that's the real deal. Like I just won $2,000.
And here's the thing. When it comes to all that, when someone presents you with an amount of cash, and especially on that show, take it. Because you don't want to get zonked. You do not want to get a pig or anything. And also, by the way, guys, the Jake's Take with Jacob Elliott Sharp podcast is not affiliated with CBS or Let's Make a Deal.
Yeah, good thing you mentioned that. But it was the same thing where I had it in my mind. I'm like, if I win over $1,000 cash, or like if they offer over $1,000 cash, I'm taking the cash and I'm running, because there was no reason to risk that. Like that's such a wonderful, wonderful gift. So I was like shocked after we did that, and I was talking to the other people who were selected, and none of those people were actors or anything. They were like from out of town, and they had come to see the show, and by chance they got selected. So I feel like they had me there to kind of like fill in case they were like, they needed somebody who they knew they could count on. Like I was in the audience for that. Everybody else, completely random people. This one woman, she was probably like 40 years old. She was a hairdresser, and she won over $50,000 of prizes. And it was just like, that is like a life-changing thing. Like it was amazing. Like just to see that these game shows, when people watch them, they're just like, oh, whatever, Let's Make a Deal. Like, that's just daytime TV. Who gives a crap about that? But then it's like seeing it firsthand and like being part of the experience. I'm like, man, this game show is changing people's lives. Like another woman won a car on the same episode. And I'm thinking like this stuff, like people's lives are different after they go on this show. And it's different for the better because they're giving these amazing gifts and these prizes for literally nothing, just for being like enthusiastic. It was absolutely like a life-changing experience. Like I'm like a big fan of Wayne Brady and Let's Make a Deal and all these game shows now because of like what they actually do for people. Like they just give people so much.
I've known several people that were affected by a game show, and especially positively, especially one contact in Kansas City who was on The Price is Right when Bob Barker was on years ago.
Right, that show's still rolling.
Yeah, and the thing that I want to ask you is because you also posted on your Instagram where you might have been in illegal trouble.
Yeah. You know what? It was actually my doppelganger. But that was I think my 3rd time seeing myself like on TV, which is pretty crazy. I've lived here for like a year and a half, and now I'm seeing myself on television, which is like so cool, and it's so inspiring. And I also auditioned to be on a court show on The Verdict with Judge Hatchett, and that was something where everybody thinks of those court shows like Judge Judy. They think they're like real shows, and I think in the beginning it was like real cases, but now I think since they duplicate so many episodes, now they have like writers and they have actors who they cast to play a lot of these roles because it's such good TV that they want to mass produce it. So, of course, they need to create like some sort of system to do it. So I was on that show.
All right. Just one before we go further, I got to say this. The Jake's Take with Jacob Elliott Sharp podcast is not affiliated with Judge Hatchett's show or any of the production companies surrounding it.
Yes, this is true. And but it was such like a fun experience because they had us there for only like a few hours. They give us this like 2-page story of like what the scenario is. And like the court case that I did was I was being sued for $1,000 because somebody came on my crab boat, which I don't have a crab boat, but my character had a crab boat, and then he was drinking and he broke his finger on my crab boat, and he was suing me $1,000 for the medical bill. And they tell us the story, but they don't decide who's going to win the court case. That's up to us to kind of battle it out. And but Judge Hatchett and all the judges, they're real judges. They have probably done over 30 years of real judging, whatever it is.
Like Judge Judy, Judge Wapner.
Yeah. So they're all real judges. What happens is once they retire, then they go and do these TV shows because they're legally not allowed to do the TV shows if they're still practicing as like a real judge. So they do it after they retire. And Judge Hatchett was an absolute angel. She was so nice, but she also, puts the hammer down, So that was a lot of fun. And I ended up winning the court case. Not that it mattered at all because everyone's still a winner on those shows because like everyone's on the show anyway. And that was a wonderful, wonderful experience. That was a lot of fun.
Awesome. So we have to talk about what have you been up to when it comes to, because you're also self-producing your own films as well.
Correct. So I actually have a film will be released before Christmas. And I released a film, I think, in August. So this will be my second short film of the year. I have a goal next year of doing 6 short films. So it's one film every 2 months. And I feel like that was kind of the why of why I came to Los Angeles was it started with just shooting films. And I was like, I want to be a Hollywood film director. Like, yeah. And now I'm like in Hollywood directing films. So it's like, okay, cool. And now it's just about like how many people can I reach with my films? Like how can I make some of the best films on earth that inspire people, make people laugh, and are a great experience for the audience. And I'm working on, we're editing my second film of this year. Just excited to have it released. It'll be released before Christmas.
Awesome. And can you please share the titles of these films so my audience can look them up?
So a film that I did in college, it's called The Test. A film that I did in August is called The Right Side of Life. And the next film that we will be releasing is called The Ballad of Cedar Jones.
Cedar Jones, that sounds very interesting. It sounds like a Western.
Yeah, it's kind of like a Western. Kind of. But it's all fun, and they'll all be posted on my YouTube page, which will be linked. Like, if you follow me on Instagram or subscribe to my YouTube page, I'll make it very, very easy to watch those movies from there on those platforms. And that's really like my goal is just keep shooting a lot of films and keep improving, keep working on the craft, keep getting better and better and better until, there's really no limit until I win like 50 Oscars. Like,
You're setting yourself up to try to tie Walt Disney's record already.
Is that Walt Disney's record? 50 Oscars?
Well, I don't. Well, here's the thing, and I don't know this, so everyone who's listening, you got to Wikipedia it because I think that Walt Disney won a lot of special Oscars for his achievements, but I'm not sure who is the winner of the most Oscars or who is the recipient.
Interesting. Well, that's my goal. Win a bunch of Oscars. That's my intention as well. Win a bunch of Oscars, make films that are really changing the world. I feel like my vision was always just directing, and I feel like now that I've gotten here, like it's expanded to being like, hey, I can be in front of the camera, I can be behind the camera, I can be like writing, producing. So really, like, I think it's interesting when it's like that thing you see on Instagram where it's like, here was my plan, and it's like a small circle, and it's like, here was God's plan, and it's like this huge city. So,
or Draw Your Life, I believe.
Huh?
Or Draw Your Life.
Yeah, exactly. Same exact thing. Like, it's just so, it's a really amazing experience, and I'm always, like, feeling just super grateful to be able to, like, pursue my dreams, because I'm a huge believer that, like, dreams come true. Like, when we have these dreams, like, they come true. They come to fruition. So it's like, just dream big and don't limit it. anything because you'll receive it. You'll achieve all of your dreams.